your computer's actually somewhere else, but it's a really high spec one.
What's the point of that? I need it here.
Well, no, it would be there. It's just like it being here. You have a blade that everything plugs into. You wouldn't probably be able to use it because you have a whole lot of mics and stuff like that. But for somebody who's gaming, you just have like a little blade that your monitor plugs into and your keyboard and your mouse.
Kind of like the library where Inwheels works. Those little boxes and everything's plugged into that little box.
We don't have those anymore. We don't have those anymore.
I feel old.
Yeah. Hello and welcome. Sorry about that. Chugga was talking about shadow blades, which I'm not.
I was talking about shadow, which is.
Thank you, Violet Gumby. Yes, thank you. My opening is epic. It's about the only thing that.
Have you pressed record?
I've got a speech. I've got a speech. Raph, I've got a speech now. Thank you for
like to thank everybody for coming.
Thank you for your subscription, Raph. Welcome to the Elite Wafflers. You are now officially a waffling champion again. Remember, keep calm and waffle on. I thought that was quite good. Thank you for your resubscription for 4 months. Excellent.
My life is complete now.
Yeah, your life is complete. Hello and welcome to this week's thrilling episode of Mithras and the Odes campaign. So much is going to happen today. So much. I have been waiting to roleplay this character again for ages. And can I just say, no matter what you do, you're going there. You have no choice. No choice at all. 6 out of 10, thank you. To start,
who gave it 6 out of 10?
Violet Gumby.
No, I'll ban them.
No, I think my intro. I think my intro, not the intro. I think my thank you for your subscription. 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Solid lines. The delivery needs more work. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I will try.
Maybe a funny voice.
A funny
or
voice.
An accent.
I guess starting out with, "Oh, I have a speech." Probably isn't the best way to hype up the crowd.
I will try my hardest. I do think I think next week I'm going to have a whole load of outfits for different NPCs, and every time you encounter a different NPC, I might disappear and come back on.
Who was Mr. Bigley?
Mr. Bigley. He was
Mr. Bigley. Mr. Bigley.
He
the
was
bears.
The Hair Bear Bunch.
Oh, right,
it was a cartoon. Yeah. Anyway, and before we go any further, I'm going to allow the players the opportunity to quickly introduce their characters themselves and say who they are playing in this Odes campaign. And we're going to go, as usual, to Chugga first.
Hi guys, I'm Chugga, and tonight I am going to be playing Gulliver, who is the scrawny youth with the ginger head and the freckly face, who is an apprentice sorcerer. Came across to the island of Odes, sent by his master Healy, his old master, to improve his sorcery skills. And since then, he's killed a multi-armed god. He's helped kill a giant scorpion, a couple of other things, and now he is an apprentice in the Order of the Kraken, which is a sorcerer order on Odes. Thank you.
Excellent.
You want me to pass it on, or
I put your freckles on.
That's not funny.
No, I think that looks quite good now. Quite good. No, and below you, we're going to allow Mr. Pickles to do his introduction just in case he disappears. Mr. Pickles.
I get to cut in line. That's so fun. I'm Mr. Pickles. I play Bartleby Fumus, our team's theist. I'm all about the goddess Amriel, literally all about that. And I am very good at knowing things. I'm also our historian. And I don't know if I can pass the mic on.
Yes, you can, by all means.
I will throw it over to Ratharoni from Wrath Inspired.
Hey, I'm Wrath from Wrath Inspired, and I am playing Aeron Suki. And I'll pass it. No, I'm just kidding. He is our group's a nomadic traveler. He drifted in with the breeze, and he goes where the winds carry him. But he travels with his trusty dog Juno, and together they've set on a course to change history. Not really. That was a terrible intro. Never mind. Scratch. Rewind. Together they have set out on a course to alter their future, and the future of the world around them. Boom! There we go. That was good, right?
That
a
was very good.
Cool.
I totally flubbed my outro last time, so I had to like make up for it. On to the beautiful and one and only Longshanks.
EPG.
Oh, thanks, Raph. Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. Tonight I'm playing Hengist, the party's tank of the group. The party's tank. He is a tall, sort of like 28-year-old warrior by trade, sort of like grown up, sort of in quite a harsh environment, surrounded by other warriors and that sort of thing, because his father sided on the wrong side of a civil war and ended up losing. All the lands, his father's lands were taken, pretty much all were taken away, and he had to, survive that way. He emigrated. He was sent off. He was packed off to his great uncle to learn the ways of a warrior, basically. And then he's in Odes because his sister was kidnapped on the night of her wedding, and so he's been chasing the twin-headed serpents.
Yeah.
Who are the people who took her. So he's been chasing them, and he's followed them to Odes.
Excellent. All nice, snappy introductions. Thank you. Raph, I was very impressed with your introduction on Traveller. I watched it.
I was very proud of that introduction.
I had to
a chat, and it was just like, "You suck, boo, shut up." And I was like,
I did have to watch it in episodes. I sort of like watched the first, then had to sleep, and then came back.
So on your Traveller, there was a couple of people missing. Do they have any social skills? Because the other two who were playing, it's like our Shadowrun adventure.
No, they don't have any social skills.
Tune in on Monday.
Well, Mr. Pickles is right. Somebody get bartering or something.
We did actually get another player who is going to be our social.
Yeah.
He's the social artiste, so he has all these artistic abilities and social capabilities compared to the rest of us.
It reminded me of our Shadowrun adventure.
Yes. well, charisma. Okay. Yes, I must say, there was a lot of. Do you want to know the bit that I really enjoyed, and I thought it was such a lucky roll.
Don't spoil it.
Right.
No spoilers, because I don't get to watch it till tomorrow.
Okay, so there was a really good roll that Raph's character does that I was very impressed with. Anyway, let's get back into the adventure, because I do believe that you have got some experience rolls. And because you have got the experience rolls, nobody's chatted to me during the week. Well, we haven't done any of the experience rolls. So let's head and do that first, and start with you, Gulliver. Is there any? Are you using any of your experience rolls at the present moment in time?
I am not. I have one saved up from last adventure, and two which we got at the end of the In Search of the Templars. I am not using any of those currently. Because Gulliver has his eye on a new sorcery spell. Now, unfortunately, the sorcery spells cost 5 experience rolls per spell, so he's saving up his pennies for that. I did have a fumble.
Oh, did you have a fumble? Yeah.
On my influence, which I have added a 1% to just now.
Well done.
So I am now on influence of 61%.
Excellent. So remember,
and that was the only one that I had.
So remember, anybody watching the stream, if any of the characters actually get a fumble, which is a 99 or 100, then they actually automatically gain a skill point in that one, but just to learn from their humble mistakes. Bartleby, you have got 3 experience rolls, I think, or 2?
Yeah, I think it was 2, but I would not disagree with the 3.
No, it's 2. Sorry, I didn't know whether or not you had something left over from the last adventure, but I don't think you do. So that's 2. So would you like to spend your experience rolls?
Yes, and I'd like to put them both in endurance.
Okay then, so you need to roll a 1d100 and add on your intelligence, and you need to get above your endurance. What is your endurance?
My endurance is currently a 17, and my intelligence is a 14. So I need to roll more or less like a 3 or
3
higher.
or above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last time he rolled a 2.
Now-
Go on, you can
And
do
yeah.
it.
Okay, let's just do the first roll. Make it.
Yes!
Yes.
Ah,
So
yes!
roll 1d4 plus 1.
Yeah. D4 plus 1. Making the money happen. Oh, yes! 2 points.
So add it on 2 to it. So
Yeah.
it is now 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, wait, no, it's a 19.
19. Sorry.
19.
19. Nice.
Yeah. Okay, and so then I'll just do the same thing one more time.
Yeah.
D100 plus 14, and money.
Yes.
Roll D4 plus 1.
3.
Oh,
Excellent.
big money.
So yeah,
Oh,
that's a good roll. That's a good roll. Did you have any fumbles?
I did not have any fumbles.
Okay, cool. Aeron, did you you have got 1 experience roll, I think. What would you like to spend it on?
1, yes. I want to use it on Teach Canine.
Okay, so you need to roll a 1d100. What's your current skill level?
Current skill is 52.
Ooh, what's your intelligence?
Intelligence is 11.
11. So
Okay.
1d100 and add on that 11 and get higher than your Teach K9.
Nope. I should probably roll it correctly. 15.
Oh.
Almost.
Almost. So therefore, because it's less, you automatically get 1 point onto that that skill.
Okay.
So that skill goes up by 1 point, and you just need to change your Wrath to Aeron in the
That
dice
was a
roll thing.
crappy
Oh,
roll.
good point.
Yeah. Excellent. And Hengist is you.
Did you have any fumbles?
Oh
No?
yes, sorry. Any fumbles?
I had a fumble on endurance. I upped it by 1.
Excellent. Cool. And Hengist, you're the last one. Any fumbles?
Angus has no fumbles, unfortunately.
Okay.
He has 1 experience roll, which he'd like to put into his perception skill, please.
Excellent. So what's your intelligence?
11.
Excellent. And what's your perception at the moment?
Perception at the moment is 21.
Oh, cool. Should be an easy roll then.
Don't jinx it.
That's it now.
It should be easy peas.
842.
Yeah, 104 is definitely higher. So 1d4 plus 4. 1, sorry.
1d4 plus
1
is a 2.
is 2.
I'll take 2.
Add it on. Excellent. So remember, if you had any fumbles from the last game, please remove them from your character sheet. So you haven't got them on there at the present moment in time. Okay, now the other thing that is going to the other thing that we have to. Hengist kindly reminded me about something about food last week, and Gulliver kindly sort of like trolled the books, etc., and has found three prices. 3 prices to adjust your money by, depending what you were drinking. I think that's right, Gulliver, isn't it? Yeah. So if you were drinking wine over the past thing, Aeron, yours would be slightly different. If you're drinking wine over the past few days, then you need to reduce your money by 42 silver pieces. If you're drinking mead, then you need to reduce your money by 28 silver pieces. And if you were drinking water, then you need to reduce your money by 14 silver pieces. Okay, and then that takes that out and about. So Hengist and Aeron, currently you're still staying at the Hairy Hobgoblin. So whenever you're staying there, I'll tell you how much you are actually going to pay in hospitality there, depending on what kind of room you want. But basically we'll come to that the next time you've got a length of time staying there. And Bartleby and Gulliver, of course, you're a member of an order, so you actually
Not the same one.
no 2 separate ones. So you actually get free communal lodgings and food because you're part of that lodging, part of that order. And Gulliver, I think I saw something in Discord about the seed.
Yes. if Hengist will take it, Gulliver wants to hand it over.
Take it! Sorry, what's that from?
Over onto Hengist, purely because Gulliver is now in a communal room, and having a coffer wrapped up in a blanket where everybody else can see it might not be the best or safest place for it.
Good idea. So is that all right, Hengist? Are you taking the coffer into your safekeeping?
Yeah,
Hengist is happy with that.
Yeah, excellent. Okay then, and the only other thing that we have to resolve before we go any further is that obviously we're going to start a new part of the adventure, and you left last week's. I'll give a quick synopsis in a second, but because Bartleby and Gulliver, you're part of an order, you actually have to do certain duties in your order, and you have to be given permission to actually leave. And I sent you your mentors and sort of like said, these are your mentors. And we would at this point have a quick dialogue between your mentor and yourself to ensure that you have got leave of absence for the next part of the adventure. So Bartleby, we'll set off with you. So I think your mentor is called...
I was just rolling to see, or scrolling up to see what you had said.
Jeremiah Cross.
Jeremiah Cross, that's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was something cross like that.
So
anyways,
my first question is that, are you going to approach Jeremiah, or are you going to wait for Jeremiah to approach you?
Well, I'm trying to remember why we're leaving.
Well, you might not be leaving. However, we'll leave it till later on in the game, the adventure, and then see whether or not you decide to leave or not. Because the synopsis might help you to remember. So if you do remember, at the end of last adventure, you managed to kill animated pieces of armor, and Gulliver nicked a seed from... I think you took one from the Templars' hideout, didn't you, Gulliver?
We took them and
gave them to Bartleby.
Bartleby is currently is currently looking after them.
Well, Bartleby
he took them to the safekeeping of his temple, so they're currently looking after those.
Yeah, he gave it to the high priests who took them away. Anyway, and Bartleby, you came out rather nicely from the adventure with a new golden bracelet, and you managed to defeat some animated piece of armor and some nasty assassins that were obviously trying to get you or somebody else, or the location of the bracelet or a seed or an egg or something, and you quite happily saw them off, rushing back into Lindowe and seeking refuge or sanctuary at various places. Gulliver, I think you led them astray via your streetwise. And Bartleby, you managed to get into the church just in time. And then after that, you went back to the hairy hobgoblin. You were talking about what you knew and what you didn't know. And it was at that part that Oki, who's some kind of monk from the Order of the Tranquil Wind, said to you that you probably need more knowledge, and since knowledge is strength and power, and what you actually needed is some more information to be able to put all the pieces of your puzzle together to figure out what these seeds actually are, why people have them, and what they might be planning on doing with them, and also what was happening with the lair of the Templars, and what was that the lair of the Templars. There was also some information that Bartleby brought up, that he mentioned an ancient dragon at one point, which almost like most people were quite shocked about, since dragons have not been in the realm of Odes for some time. And that's when you remembered the beast handler Jasmine Claw, who defeated the last dragon and has not been seen since. And while you were at the table discussing knowledge, Oki produced a key, a wrought iron key, finely crafted but very heavy. And he commented that another reason he was in Lindowe was to seek out the library of the Tranquil Wind, the Order of the Tranquil Wind, which was a legendary library that held more knowledge that could possibly fit into Bartleby's head. And he said that he had the key, the entrance, he could unlock the door, or you guys could unlock the door with the key. However, he was puzzled about where the location was. And if you remember, we left the last adventure by Oki saying that he wished he knew of a cartographer in the city of Lindowe. And I will shut up.
That was really helpful, actually. There were a few details there that were missing in my recollection.
I needed that.
Not a problem at all. It's what I'm here for. Excellent. Okay, what would you like to do, guys? We'll say that we're still in the hairy hobgoblin, so Oki's still there with you at this present moment.
Oh, okay.
Gulliver's going to say to Oki, is there anything you can tell us about the library that might help us narrow down its location at all? Was it in a town? What was it in the wilderness? And how long is it since anybody's been to it?
Oh, so Oki sort of like pulls up a chair next to the table. Let's move you across to the where you were last week. There you go. Okay, you should be able to see that now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oki sort of like pulls up his chair and sort of like leans forward as if to give you information that not everybody is privy to. And he sort of like begins to recount the legend of the library. And he says to you, there's not much known of the library, for the order went into some disrepute some time ago. I only know that it is perched high up on some mountainous region, and the entrance is the only way up there unless you wish to climb up sheer slopes of rock and crevices. The library holds all the knowledge of the world, for throughout time scribes within the order have been writing down both the exciting and the mundane things that have happened. Anything a person wishes to know lies in the books of the library.
Are there any landmarks near the library that might help us narrow down exactly where it is?
I have never seen the library. All I know is that it exists, or did exist, for it is quite possible that it has fallen. And if so, all that knowledge will have gone.
Have you ever heard of the library, Bartleby? Have you ever read about it?
Can I roll locale, perhaps, to say whether I could think of anything that might resemble that kind of similar large structure in area?
Okay, so you can. There's two different rolls you can make here. Your lore history will tell you whether or not you've heard of the library before. Your locale will tell you whether or not you've known of its location. So two separate rolls. So first of all, roll about whether or not you've heard about the roll, and go for it.
Lore history, rolling that knowledge.
Boom.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
You've also got your fatigue on.
Oh yeah, I should probably cool off.
Yeah, you're fine at the moment.
That's not a fumble, is it? A fumble's 100?
No, 99.
No, 99 or 100.
Oh my gosh, knowledge.
Yeah,
you're going to get a percent in it.
So a 99 or 100 always misses, no matter what your skill roll is. So even if your skill roll was 257, and 99 or 100 always fails no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're.
Am I still allowed to do locale?
Yeah, you don't know anything about this library from reading in the history books. So now you're just sort of like thinking, roundabout, is there anywhere that you would know that could resemble some kind of library?
Yeah.
Can I put up two things? One, just a huge shout out. Pickle's internet has been perfectly clear. His camera has been great.
Oh, you jinxed it now, Wrath.
Oh, he's gone.
If he goes now, that'll be.
And then the second thing is, seeing as how the order that I come from, like the order or whatever, the tribe or the clan that I come from, can I roll my locale to see if maybe my tribe knows of this location or knows of the library?
Yeah, you can both roll it. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, coming out with all the knowledge. Gulliver, I have no idea what this guy is.
Neither Aeron or Bartleby, neither of you have any knowledge of a library or anything like that. But you do know. I'm just going to move you across to a map that of the general area. Can you see that? You might have to zoom out or in because it's rather small, the area that you can see. And I do have another one that I can show you. Yeah, okay, then hang on. Let me just move you to the next one because that next one has you being falls on, etc. Can you see that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And on, I can't. Let me zoom. Oh, yeah, I got it now. Yeah.
So you both Aeron and Bartleby, you are aware that if you look to the south west of Lindowe, there is a sort of like a mountainous region that runs down to the southwest in a line. So if the library was round here and on a mountain, then that is the only mountainous regions that you guys know of that where it would actually exist.
We don't really have much to go on then, do we?
No, and I'm not entirely sure about Aeron's hypothesis there that it's up on that mountaintop, but.
You're reading my mind.
I mean, it's. So I mean, the only person that we know in Lindowe who could probably might even have an old map that might show its location would be Sylvester McCoon.
At this point, you just hear Hengist has been really quiet throughout this whole exchange because he hasn't really been. He's been following the conversation, but he's been deep in thought, and he doesn't really know anything about it, so he's not been contributing at this. As soon as Gully mentions that name, you see the mug of ale that Hengist is holding just slam on the table.
I thought he was going to go.
Still doesn't say anything either.
Oki turns around to you and says, "You know of a cartographer?"
He's not a very nice man.
Particularly not nice.
He called me a girl.
Nice as in evil?
No, he's just
uncouth.
Has a bad attitude.
Dear Gully, dear Gully, as you mature and grow, you have to learn to be a blade of grass and bend and flex in the wind. For if you are a solid tree, you will, in time, snap and break.
Okay. I don't know whether or not we can trust him now. I think that's the problem. Because we went to him with the map that showed you the entrance to the temple. And that's how we met you, Oki, was that we had a map that showed us where the entrance to where the knights were. And he was the only person that we showed it to. he's the one that sent us to find Giselle. But then when we came out the temple, there was those people throwing knives at us, and Giselle was dead. So I think he might have told somebody where we were going. He was the only one who knew.
Oki looks at you again, Gully, and says, "Trust needs to be earned. However, what evidence have you that the 2 or 3 instances were related?"
Well, we don't have anything, but it's just a hunch, and sometimes my hunches are right. So there was once when we were in this temple, and Hengist was trying to kill this old woman, and he couldn't, and I managed to work out what to do, and I managed to kill her with a torch.
Gully, life is like a gentle pond with pebbles falling from a height. Ripples emanate from each entry to the water, and yet none may be related to each other.
I think we might have upset him last time as well, because he wanted to buy the map and we wouldn't sell it. And then we got the information that we wanted from it, and we didn't go back and sell it for a lower price. So I think this time we're not going to get such a good deal. And he called me a girl.
Sometimes, Oki says, the truth comes out in the end. Gully, do not let pride falter your steps forward. Be strong with your self-esteem.
I think if we are going to go and see Macoun, I think we need to be ready to leave straight away, just in case he does pass on the information of where we're going to somebody else. We want to get a good head start on it. We don't want to be shopping for provisions and other stuff after we've got the location. What do you think?
I agree.
So then we should go and see him first thing in the morning, or in first thing in a morning, so then we can get the best of the day of travel still.
Well, I think we need to be prepared to travel. So we need to buy food and water skins and have. Well, we're going up mountain. Do we need rope?
Probably a good idea, Gully, to have rope if we're going mountain.
Oki's sort of like retells you the information he has with the library, saying that if you remember, Gulliver, the entrance,
there's a path.
The entrance to the library is at the bottom of the slope, as far as I know from stories. The only way up is through that, unless, indeed, your powerful magical spells, or that of Bartleby the thesis, can actually levitate us up and in to the library.
No.
Don't doubt the depth of my goddess's power, Gulliver. I might be able to levitate everybody up with her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think you would, but
we should get rope though, anyways, just in case Gabriel doesn't care.
Just in case it's cloudy.
I was just checking Bartleby's spells there. I was just checking his character sheet just in case I had given him something.
Can Gulliver try to catch the eye of Basil as he's doing his rounds and see whether or not he can motion him to come over?
Yeah, that's quite easy to do. He's constantly sort of like walking around.
When he comes over, Gulliver's going to say, Basil, I wonder whether or not you could maybe give us some information. You very kindly put us in touch with a cartographer a few days ago called Sylvester Macoun.
Ah, yes. He is somewhat of a mean, miserly cartographer, but good at his job.
He called me a girl.
I can see the issue there.
We need to go.
Maybe, Gulliver, I could give you somewhat of some gentle hints. Maybe almost like develop yourself.
I think
You
I
hear,
think I am
you
developing,
hear-
but
sorry to interrupt, but you hear at that point Hengist like choking on a mouthful of his ale with
Gulliver, you should be out lifting logs so you can have muscles like I do, he says, flexing his giant muscles.
Master Healy always said to me that magic maketh the man.
I did not get these muscles by using one hand lifting beer, you know.
How did you get them?
By lifting logs.
Oh, okay.
Big, fat logs for the fire.
Anyway, we have to go and see Sylvester Macoon again, and he did really get the better of us in our last our last bargaining.
I thought he might do.
Is there? I mean, you've been in Lindowe for a long time, and you probably know all the all the people and all the merchants in here. Is there maybe any type of information that you could maybe send our way that might help us in our bargaining?
Yeah,
There would probably be a tankard of your best ale in it for you.
so I take off his ale.
Yeah, yeah, but well, we would pay for it.
Okay, roll your influence. It's a standard roll.
Boom.
There is something that you might need to know about Sylvester. He is rather fond of maps. He is willing to give up most things for a good map. Or there is something else he quite fancies. Birds. He's very keen on birds, especially owls.
Right. So we either need a map or an owl.
Or a quick tongue, Gully. A quick tongue that you can use your words to weave the discussion of power in order to entice him to your way of thinking.
Has he always been a cartographer, or has he?
Somebody
been
over
other
the
things?
the other side of the room sort of like calls him, and he sort of like goes, "Yes, sir, I will bring you your ale," and he sort of like goes waddling off.
Okay, thank you. So, what do you think?
well,
I don't have an owl.
and we don't have a map.
Could we?
But Gully, you do appear to have a quick tongue.
Yes, but he doesn't like me. He thinks I'm a girl.
Maybe we can use that to our advantage.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, we could try to find an owl.
We could search the market. They might have
Do
those sorts
we-
of things for sale.
We don't want to give him the map that we already have.
I was
Because that
gonna
would
say,
give him-
you do have the map to the slums where you were before. You actually do have that.
Do we want to give that to him?
Why would we have hid that location if we were going to just give somebody the map later on? Because we made a big deal about covering the grate up with mud and whatnot again and pushing.
But
right?
he's seen it. Maybe he'll remember the location anyway. Okay, so we're not going to give him the map. So that's decided. And we don't have any other maps, and we don't have any owls. So we're just going to have to bargain with him.
Bargain money.
Money or service.
What
I
kind
mean,
of
maybe he'll want something from the library.
True. If we could find the location, then perhaps we could promise him some kind of reward from.
We could find some maps from the library because Oki here said that the library has everything, all knowledge.
Okay, so is that the plan we're going to go with? So if he wants payment, how much do we have?
I have Amriel's eternal blessings.
What, no candle?
I don't feel that I owe him a candle in this case.
I think you're going to have to restock candles because they're getting given out left, right, and centre.
Okay, so we've got Amriel's eternal blessing.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Aeron?
I was just looking. Most of my packings are for survival purposes. My life is on the road. I carry nothing of real value to most superficial individuals.
Oki says, maybe your cartographer friend would take a dog. Looks down at Aeron's dog.
Aeron immediately grabs his spear and just turns and looks, just gripping tight on the spear. He's like,
we're not getting rid of Juno.
watch your tongue, Oki. That
What about you, Hengist?
No life.
Hengist,
Don't forget you still owe me from the last few days as well. But for us to get to that temple, it cost me a lot of money. It was like 250 silver pieces.
Hengist, I said I'd pay for your food, Gully.
I don't eat that much.
But Hengist will nod and say, "I have some limited funds that we could."
Okay, well, there
this.
is some things that I need to buy, but and I think I could probably.
If anybody wanted to roll a commerce roll, by the way, I can give you a general costing of an owl if there would be one available.
I want to know.
Oh, comes in with a 2.
Right. Okay then. So Aeron rolled it first, so that would have been the standard roll. Okay. So Gulliver, yours, because you're the second one to roll it, yours is set as hard now. Okay. So you succeeded, and Bartleby, yours is set as formidable now after Gulliver's roll. So Gulliver, so even though you've succeeded up to hard, because you're the third person to roll it, Bartleby, your score is a lot higher. So Gulliver, you do know the cost of an owl is anywhere between 30 silver pieces for a pull quality one, up to 180 silver pieces for a superior one.
So with the rationale for the making it harder each time is that the people who succeed and people who come after that, they can't really add as much because it's like, yeah, that's about how much I would guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it stops people. So I think it's basically a bit like, like secret doors in Dungeons and Dragons. I look for something, you don't find it. Well, I'll look for something then. And so in order to something like to prevent people keep rolling and rolling and rolling, every time there's a roll, it increases in difficulty by one sort of like a difficulty rating. So it's always better to think, right, who's going to have, well, there's two ways of looking at it. I was talking to somebody the other day about it. Is it better to let the person with the lowest score go first because they and because people with the high score are probably got a better chance to do the higher rolls, or the person with the highest roll to go first? But it's up to you. I'm quite happy. It's interesting. Shadowrun rolls it that every time you roll it, you lose 2 dice. So every time you roll the same skill, you roll it, not on combat, of course. But it has the same sort of like ruling in Shadowrun. I don't think it has it in Dungeons and Dragons, to be honest with you. I've never played it. Yeah, so anyway, that's your costing.
I'm not really at ease getting him an owl.
It might be a cheaper option, Gully, after...
Yes, but he doesn't really look like the person that's going to look after an owl, does he? he's probably going to pluck it and use its feathers to write with.
Maybe that's
I mean,
why
would he
wants an owl.
strike you as an owl type person?
No.
And not only that, it would probably have to be kept in that dingy room that he has. I'm not happy with that. I don't. Owls should be flying free and hunting whatever they hunt. They shouldn't be given to people like Macoon.
Yes. I mean, I believe my praise of Amriel will likely sway him to our direction. I feel that we discounted that a little too early on.
Okay, so we need a plan. So I'm going to need to speak to my my mentor in my order to see whether or not I can even get permission to leave, because I have certain duties, mainly involves carrying books and writing out books and sweeping the floor of where the books are. But I still need to get permission to go. So I think that's one thing that I need to do. And then I think we should all buy equipment and be ready, have supplies ready for the road. And then the following morning, if I manage to get permission, well, even if I don't, you'll have to go by yourselves. And then we speak to Macoon and we offer trade and then a money.
Sounds like a good plan, Big Gully.
Evan,
I'm
are
happy with
you
this.
okay with that?
I will follow.
Okay, and what about you, Bartleby?
I believe that's likely. I mean, yeah, let's do that, because I think I have to talk to my cross-bearing
Okay.
master.
No offense to you, Hengist, but you didn't do very well last time you spoke to him. I think he's the type of person that looks towards the more intellectual. Is that so? Maybe Bartleby. Maybe Bartleby wants to speak to him, and I can watch him carefully and to see whether or not he's hiding anything. And I can tap Bartleby on the back if he's lying. Not Bartleby's lying, but Macoon's lying.
Okay, so
Bartleby doesn't lie because.
So the plan of action, therefore, is Gully and Bartleby, you're going off to see Sylvester, yeah?
The wizard.
Yeah, you're going off to see the cartographer.
No, we're all going.
You're all going. Okay, got you. And
but we're so Bartleby and Gulliver is going to go and see whether or not they can get permission for. I don't know whether or not Mr. Pickles is here because it's just gone onto his picture.
Yeah, it was starting to have a little bit of difficulty there. It kicked me once.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah.
So Bartleby and Gulliver's going to go and see whether or not they can gain permission to travel, because it looks like where we're going is going to be outside of Lindowe, and we might be
Okay.
missing for a bit.
How many? Just out of interest, just when you go off, how long will you be asking your orders to be away for?
Go ahead.
I was thinking 2 weeks.
And you mentioned earlier about buying provisions, etc., before you go and see Sylvester. And I was just wondering how much provisions you are buying. How long are you planning on being on the road for?
I was thinking 2 weeks, and then but we'll probably hopefully be able to subsidize what we have with anything that Aeron and Juno can get.
Okay, cool. That's fine. So before we go and see Sylvester, then we've got some various aspects to pick up on, haven't we? So let's do one bit at a time. So let's. I asked you all through the Discord to make a list of those things that you were going to be taking with you, and have that ready. So we've got sort of like a full price of those. So remember, on your equipment list, a backpack holds 20 encumbrance, and some of the things will be encumbrance. Add to your. Remember, if it's in your backpack, it's still classed as being encumbered. It's just that your backpack can hold that much, so it's almost like a rating of capacity. So it's not, oh, you can whack everything up into there until it hits 20 encumbrance. It's just a rating of capacity, because there's not actually any capacity in there at the moment. So you should have a list of everything that you have. So make sure then the quantity and the encumbrance is actually on your character sheets. Please check your encumbrance, because you might have to not take something because your encumbrance will automatically adjust. Okay.
I had to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Then so make sure that that's fully up to date. So when I go and see whether or not you've got stuff, then it's actually done. And remember, if you are carrying it, then next to the description there should be a little cross, or it should be easily identifiable somewhere on your character sheet that you're actually carrying that. So I know some of you put it in your notes or something like that, which is absolutely fine. People with commerce skill and influence and insight, etc., you do have the option, if you wish, to haggle to get your stuff cheaper or more expensive from the actual merchants. So this is something that's been in the game for a while. So basically what happens is that you will roll your let me just get it. You will roll your insight roll to start off with, and that gives you your difficulty. The merchant will roll its insight roll as well and get its difficulty, and then you roll your commerce roll or your influence roll. It's completely up to you. And then that, depending on the opposition roll and the degree of success, will tell me whether or not you get it at the standard price, whether or not you gain the advantage and can get it up to 25% of the. So you get 75% off the standard price, or the seller gains the advantage and actually increases the price up to 200%. So it's all down to the roll. So it's up to you guys.
So on the first roll, is it purely influence, or can you use commerce?
No, the first roll is purely you use insight.
Right. Okay.
You use insight on the first roll, and then on the second roll, it's either influence or commerce.
Right.
It's up to you on the second roll which one you use, but the first one is insight. So basically, if you think about it in the sense that you roll your insight to try to understand whether or not they're trying to cheat you out of the money, and that's the sort of like the theory behind it. And then your influence and commerce is to sort of like try to get the best price then, and the merchants will roll their willpower or their commerce. But please do remember they are merchants. So they're not likely to have commerce 6%. You know, they are going to be quite substantial. So it's up to you. Or you can just pay the normal price. Tumbleweed.
I'm not going to haggle because these merchants work hard for the products that they bring us. And I sent you my purchase list on Discord.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you. So if you just adjust your lists accordingly with your money, and make sure it's up. Obviously, you know, there's trail rations in there. That includes water, etc. So anything else. Hengist, are you buying everybody a horse?
Hengist isn't that rich.
Oh,
Hengist wishes he could.
I think they're 1,200 silver pieces.
Hengist could probably afford
I'd say for a small
75% of
pony.
one horse.
Oh, right. So
But if
no,
you get your influence,
so no horses for anyone. You're just going to be plodding along on foot. Okay, so make sure you've adjusted that, and then if nobody's going to make haggling rolls, then we can...
Gully's going to make a haggling roll. He remembers the time when with the arm wrestling competition and how he managed to work out who was going to win. He thinks he's pretty good at judging people, so
Okay, then.
he's going to have a go.
So the first thing you need to roll then is your influence.
Okay.
Your insight, sorry, insight first.
Okay.
And tell me what you get.
I get a 25 out of a 69.
So it's just a standard success, yeah? Yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just
well,
a standard success. There's no critical, there's no fumble, there's no failure. Just a standard. So yeah, so you're just going to roll your normal it's just a normal standard roll for your haggling. Okay then.
Okay.
So now you roll either your influence or your commerce. It's up to you which one
okay.
you roll.
I'm going to Gulliver's going to try to influence him.
Okay.
I got a standard again.
So yeah, so I get a standard. I get a standard as well. So it's just equal price. It's equal pegging at that point. So you do well to not be cheated by this merchant. So that's absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so my bill is 63 silver pieces.
Excellent.
And 8 copper pieces.
Yeah, so that would be a fraction, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably better to so there's 10 coppers in a silver, yeah?
Yeah. 52.
So just put
12.
it down as point something. And then we
well,
can
I have copper pieces anyway.
All right,
12
cool.
minus 8, 4.
So and therefore we can head over to I'm assuming you're not in the shop yet, but we'll just get him up and ready. Can you see why he likes owls?
Oh, hang on. I can't. Oh, yes, at the back. Well, he's definitely not having one.
How much does food weigh? I cannot find it in the book at all.
I have it down as one encumbrance. I have it down as
For 7 days of trail rations?
yeah.
or-
So I have it down for 2, and
Okay.
I've put a water skin down as 1.
Yeah. I found water skin. I just could not find trail rations. Sorry.
Yep, cool. So let's head off to Sylvester McCoon's place of business then. Let's see what he gets up to. Okay, so is the plan that everybody's going in?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah. So everybody's going to go in,
Okay.
Yeah.
and Bartleby, because he's older and he's a priest, he's going to lead. Gulliver's going to watch him carefully, not Bartleby, but Macoon, to see whether or not he can work out whether or not he's lying or hiding the truth
Okay.
from us.
Cool. So if you tell me when you would like to roll your insight roll, then that's absolutely fine. And just burst in or just roll it and I'll see it come up on the screen at that point. Okay then, so as you can imagine, you walk through the city of Lindowe, and because you're in the merchant area, things are quite busy. There's quite a lot of people coming and going. There's lots of people, lots of performers on the actual on the side of the road. There's lots of sort of like haggling going on, and there's lots of people sort of like running. Every now and again you see the bluebirds ferrying messages left, right and centre as they hurry from one place to another, and you see the city guards walking around with their long spears in their partners, and as they walk past you as a group, Oki doesn't come with you, by the way, they sort of like they seem to be keeping a careful eye on you. They're not ignoring you, they sort of like watch you as you sort of like go past. And it gets to the point that you notice that several merchants look up as you go by. You hear the odd sheep bleating in the background, and you eventually get to Sylvester Macoon's dirty-looking cartography shop that you've seen before. And you are quite welcome to enter whenever you wish.
You there, Mr. Pickles?
Oh, sorry. I thought maybe my internet was being weird again. Let's go right on in then. Bartleby will lead the way.
Okay, so you open the door and there's that whiff of incense and burnt paper and quills, etc., and stuffed animals. And you notice that Sylvester, as always, is huddled over his writing desk, and just as in the picture, he's scribing out what appears to be some cryptic language that none of you actually understand.
Gulliver will follow Bartleby in.
Aeron would take this chance to see, I mean, obviously, having the dog at his side, but just kind of looking around the shop, taking in all the different stuff on the shelves around him and stuff, just perceiving everything.
So if you remember, the shelves are wooden, and they have sort of like little sort of like alcoves that are full with rolled up pieces of scroll and paper in there.
Well, I guess I'll walk right up to his desk, and looking him in his eyes as much as I can, though I presume he's looking down.
He certainly is, yes.
Oh gosh, disrespectful. I want to loudly say to him, "Hello, Sylvester. Have you received?"
I see you have returned.
That is exactly what we have done. Amriel has brought us back to you.
Like a bad penny, they return once more to my shop.
Yes, and that's because we have some rather dire news and some issues that we need some assistance on, Sylvester, and I'm sure that you'll be more than happy to assist us, yes?
Tell me, how is Zizal? Is she doing well?
Well, for as well as you can do in that kind of profession, she's doing terrible.
Yeah, she is somewhat of a thief. I thought you would find her interesting. Almost like conflicting your religious beliefs somewhat. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Well, I mean, Amriel's light can purify all who seek it, so whoever crosses my path is fine, Sylvester. That's a weird trick for you to try and pull. Do you know anything about dragons, though, on serious?
Dragons?
Yes.
As in the fire-breathing ones, or the ones that husbands have for partners?
The fire-breathing ones.
Do they breathe fire?
And I am assuming that you wish to have this information for mere discussion purposes, and you do not value my information to cross my palm with silver or any other color currency.
Would a candle do?
No.
Wait, well, hold on. I want to say it again with an influence check. I want to say, will a candle do?
Okay, then go for it. He says, I am in need of a candle. These burn low. He picks up the candle and he lights it from the other one and puts it down. He drips a bit of wax onto the table first and then sticks it up on it. Your tallow is quite feeble, Theseus. I wonder what
Thank
they
you.
put in it at your church.
They put Amriel's golden light into it. Yeah, what Aeron said. So what do you know about dragons, specifically Cassini?
Ah, you wish to know about the ancient dragon?
Yes. As much as you know, particularly where this dragon might be sleeping.
And for this information, I get but a candle.
Gulliver's going to lean close to Bartleby and say, I thought we were looking for a library.
Oh,
We
I
are looking
see
for-
you brought the girl with you.
I'm not a girl.
I can hear from the high-pitched voice that stings my ears and penetrates every brain cell of my body. A screaming little girl.
I'm an apprentice in the Order of the Kraken. I'm not a girl. I once killed a giant scorpion. I bet you've never killed a giant scorpion, have you? I did it with a stone. A
Aeron
throne
will-
stone.
Aeron will kind of reach over and put his mighty hand on Gulliver's shoulder, and he'll be like, "Shh, Golina, it'll be all right."
You called me a girl.
And I called you Golina. Let Bartleby speak with him. This is but a fleeting moment, not worth your time.
You need to know about the ancient dragon Cassini, then.
Indeed. Among other things.
And for this information, you are willing to pay?
Yes.
And
We're not giving you an owl, though.
What is the price of this information you are really willing to partake in?
Well, and I suppose not everybody would value this, but I want to make sure you don't die, Sylvester.
If you were going to preach to me, Theseus, the time for that has long since passed. My soul is safe.
I'm sure that your soul is safe. I'm more concerned with everybody on this continent being safe.
Well, what do I care about everyone else on the continent?
You're included among them, and Cassini is going to rise. We also seek a great library that could perhaps help us find Cassini. But we thought we'd stop to see if you knew anything, Sylvester.
A library, you say?
Yes, I'm sure that a library wouldn't really matter too much to you. You're more interested in dragons than maps or books of knowledge.
It would seem you are more interested in dragons, Theseus. I am more interested in owls and books of knowledge. Which location do you seek now?
You might not have heard of it, Sylvester. You might not have traveled far enough. Just a certain library of the Order of the Tranquil Wind we're seeking. One that supposedly is difficult to climb to.
Oh. So the order has returned, has it?
I don't remember them leaving, but that's just because I have faith in other people.
The order was wiped out many years ago. They have been somewhat missing from Odes for several decades. I'm surprised you have met one at all.
Who said anything about me meeting one?
I know who you sit with in the hairy hobgoblin, with the mighty and powerful, somewhat Basil, brainless.
I think it's earless.
Girl, shut up.
I'm sure he said his name was earless. It wasn't. I'm not a girl.
Go and tend your nails or hair or cook a meal.
You're a bad man, you.
Gulliver's nails are fine, Sylvester.
I am glad he sorted them this morning, therefore. Tell me about this library thesis.
Well, I mean, I've heard that it's supposed to have unlimited knowledge. The scribes have been writing everything, both sacred and vulgar, for the past universe of time. We seek this because I believe that the dragon is rising to destroy everything.
You included.
The dragon does not interest me, but this library does.
Can I make an insight roll?
Yes, by all means.
Please. I want to know whether or not he's actually right with that. I got a 20 out of a 69.
Yeah, that is totally true. He is a lot more interested in knowledge than the library than the dragon.
Okay.
Very much so. Knowledge is somewhat power, thesis. I am tempted to aid you on your quest to find this library, but I lack the understanding what is in it for myself.
I mean, are you able to walk around and go trekking in the mountains, Sylvester?
I do not trek.
I didn't think so. So there is no way for you to ever obtain any scrap of knowledge within this library. Unless you help us.
You underestimate my powers, thesis.
Most definitely.
I have a proposition for you. I am in need of a female company.
Gulliver sort of like take a step back and sort of like
I suggest you leave
behind.
the girl with me for the week. No.
Deal.
Sylvester.
I am interested to know whether or not this library actually exists. Fables and legends say it has immense knowledge, and I would be interested to tap into these books. So I propose a arrangement.
I would be willing to hear out this arrangement if you can give me just one moment, Sylvester. I'd like to step outside because I have a bad feeling. And just kind of promptly, I don't say anything to anybody else. I want to go outside. And I want to use my devotion because I have a very bad feeling about this guy. I think he's a sinner, and I want to know what Amriel has to say about this, and whether he's to be trusted.
Cool. And blind roll it to me, remember?
Oh, Matt. Yeah. Well, there's my number. It's a 53. So blind roll it now, which is just exclamation B roll.
Yeah, and then 1d100. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Expert.
Yeah, so you close your eyes and sort of like seek Amriel's guidance on this, and you hear her clear voice once again sinking almost like into your head, and she says the following. Do you want me to say it out loud, or do you want me to Discord it to you?
Discord it to me.
Okay.
When Bartleby's out, Gulliver's just going to sort of like look around and then he's going to say to Sylvester, "Have you ever killed anything with that crossbow?" Just to make conversation.
And he turns around to you and says, "Touch anything and you will lose more than your hand."
While he's doing that, like, Aeron's been walking along, like, rubbing his finger on the wood to, like, get a collection of the dust and looking, and looks over and goes, "Oh, is there any way that I can use, like, locale or track to maybe see some of these items and these artifacts and see if I know, like, some of the areas that they've come from, which means that areas that he may have traveled to?"
The only way you would be able to do that is actually to take the scrolls out and read what's actually on them.
I see. Okay. I don't know how to read.
Oh, bless you.
So,
But you got a doggy.
unfortunately, my dog doesn't know how to read either.
I know, but
Juno's not going to be much help here.
Wrath, if you looked at Juno's character sheet, you'd see that literacy is actually her most high level.
Yeah.
She's got a 75. She beats Gulliver and I.
Yeah.
Not fair.
Her best skill is brawn and swim
Oh.
and perception
So if I fall overboard, you're going to throw Juno after me?
and track and talking.
It's a good job you didn't fall overboard on the ship that we were on because we didn't help anybody.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, I've prayed.
Holy crap.
I'm going to go back in unless anybody else want to do anything before I go in with my judgment.
Now, Gully's just going to make idle conversation whilst you're out doing. He'll ask about the crossbow and where he gets his quills from. And
He turns around to you and says, maybe I could show you my prowess. Does anybody have an apple?
no, sorry.
Oh, the thesis returns.
Yes,
I
I'm willing to
sense-
hear your argument.
I sense his golden rays penetrating into the shop.
Thank you.
You sense,
Sylvester?
You sense a slight sarcasm in his voice.
He can't dampen my light.
Gulliver will lean forward and say, he's been sarcastic.
Thanks, Gulliver. Sylvester, I'm willing to hear your offer and how you'll be willing to aid us.
I'm glad to hear it. You see, somewhere in this humble abode that I call my shop, I do have a map that is meant to tell of the location of the library. However, I searched many days for the actual entrance and saw nothing. Maybe you, with your power of divineness, will have a better chance of locating it, or even your fellow travelling companion, the monk you bring with you. He is somewhat been brought to the attention of every living soul in Lindowe. Tranquil should not be his middle name. I make a proposition, thesist. I will give you the map that will lead you to the so-called location of the library of the Tranquil Wind. But you must withhold your end of the bargain. For when you return to Lindowe, you have to come to me first and tell me whether or not the location is true. And before you do that, I will require you to drink this. And he reaches underneath his table and he puts out on the desk a tiny vial about this big with a glass stopper on it, what appears to be some kind of deep green liquid.
Is it poison?
If he's offering it, can I take the vial and inspect it a little closer?
He's not offering it. This will only encourage you to tell the truth.
Encourage me to tell the truth. But
No.
that's what Amriel already does.
So you will have no worries then. You must come to me first, though.
I'll do my best, but, if a dragon wakes up, previously mentioned, I won't be able to help you as quickly.
I have had a long life. My time grows nearer every day. Maybe it is more important to protect the girl, for she is still but young.
Maybe you'll die before we get back.
Yeah. That's always a possibility, but let's hope not. Let's hope nobody in this party dies in this current room.
And maybe, young lady, you will not come back.
I'm not a girl.
If you thesis, if you query the content of the bottle, then I'm sure your companion of the Blue Order can help you verify the contents.
I want to turn to Gulliver. Do you know what's inside this?
No, but my order can probably tell from just a small sample of it, because the Order of the Kraken is also an order of alchemists. So if anybody's going to know what's in that vial, it's going to be us.
I see.
Sylvester pulls off a tiny bit of parchment and he tilts the vial and sort of like gets it on the end of the glass stopper, the liquid, and dabs it onto the parchment. And you see it's suddenly absorbed onto the parchment, and he puts the top back on and puts it back under the table and says, "Be careful. I would not advise you to touch it, for it can be absorbed through the skin."
Gulliver's good to very carefully holding it by the end that Sylvester's holding it, take it off him. And he's just going to hold it in his hand like that.
Thesis.
Yes.
I need your word. Swear.
I swear on my love for Amriel, the lighter of lights. I will come back here and talk to you truthfully if we get to the library of the Order of the Tranquil Wind.
That is good enough for me. He puts his quill down and he sort of like looks around the room and he goes, and all of a sudden a scroll appears in his hand. Aeron, you who were over by the cases, you suddenly notice that one disappears. And then as you turn around, you see it in his hand. And he says, "Your map, thesis." And for the first time, Bartleby, he actually looks up and looks you straight into your eyes and goes, "Your map, thesis."
I will take the map from him, matching his gaze.
Thank you.
I say nothing until I begin to turn to walk away, and I say, we will return as promised. Sylvester.
He ignores you and goes back to
It's all good.
his writing.
I guess I'll emerge out onto the street, back into the light of the day.
Gulliver will leave the shop as well. And as soon as he gets outside, he'll say, "He's a nasty man. Nasty."
You have no idea, Gulliver.
I was asking whether or not the cams had changed position.
Yeah,
in
I
Will's...
saw it.
Okay, that's all right. Because Longshanks and Rath's changed positions on Zoom.
Oh, they must have.
One of them must have disconnected.
Yeah.
Well, I disconnected much earlier. I don't know. Is it still
Yeah.
that?
No, yours is fine
never
because
know.
I put you in last. So basically, you can do what you want, Bartleby. It won't matter for yours.
Yes. Woo!
Yes.
It's a
Can you
cat
hear me?
burglar.
Hello?
Yeah.
Test.
I get it.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Rath.
Okay. My headset died, and so I had to go grab the charger and plug it in. When I plugged it in, my camera flickered, and I was like, "Oh crap! Did that just?" And I went, "Dang it! It did."
You're now called Hengist.
I
Well,
think everybody should be back now.
feels good to finally be popular.
Yeah.
Now that I am Hengist.
Yes, you are Hengist.
Are we back at the Harry Hobgoblin?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we want to be.
Did you check Discord?
Yeah, that's kind of what upset me, right? As Gulliver was talking.
I do that a lot. Sorry.
You're good. It's Amriel's just texting me, you know.
Snapchats again.
It's scary things, and I have bad feelings about Sylvester, and it's good that we're going to the Harry Hobgoblin to digest.
I think I don't know about him, because if he wants to know the location of the library, I should have seen whether or not he was telling the truth. Then maybe that was his bluff. Maybe he was just pretending that he wanted to know the location of the library, where in fact he was going to send people after us to kill us. Oh, drat.
Well, he certainly likes to follow our story around and knows of where we are and what we do.
I think we should set off as soon as we can and get a good start.
I think Oki might be dead.
When you get back to the Hairy Hobgoblin, you notice that Oki's not there, and you can ask Basil. Sort of like comes over and sort of like delivers you wine or mead or water, depending what your choice of poison is, and cheese and bread. And he sort of like says to you, "Your friend left a message. He said he will see you back here in 3 weeks, or was it 3 days?"
Did he say where he was going, Basil?
I think it was 3 weeks. Oh. He said he would be back in 3 weeks. Definitely 3 weeks. Definitely.
Okay.
Or
Okay,
maybe 3
thank you.
days. No, 3 weeks. and he goes off.
Oh, Basil.
You notice that the map, if you have a look at the map that Sylvester gives you,
Yeah, we'll all crowd round.
does indeed show a location to the southwest of the town. It's about 200 kilometers away or such, if I've done my maths correctly. And so you can roughly, if you travel 10 to 12, you can walk this quite easily over about 6 days. So you'll walk about 10 to 12 hours a day. And so, that's a reasonable amount, about 30 kilometers, which I think is about 18 miles, which you can do. You're all young and fit people. You don't have anybody like Miko troubling you. So it'll probably take you about 6 days. The road, there is a trade route that goes down there, which is quite an open road. And then as you get closer to the location, you notice that there's a road that branches off and heads towards the mountain, where there then seems to be one of those stylistic entrances to a cavern that you sometimes see on maps. It's not an X or anything, it's just sort of like a cavern entrance. And Bartleby and Gulliver, can you just roll your literacy rolls for me, please? Decide who wants to go first.
Gulliver should go first, and I'll join in second. Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll see whether or not you can.
Oh, that's a 1 there for me.
Off you go, Bartleby.
And so I have to hit it hard.
Yeah.
Bam! No.
No, it's fine, because the lettering's quite easy to read on this. It's just sort of like it says
Entrance.
something. It says something like possibly the entrance to the library, and there's sort of like an arrow to it, and it's sort of like being scrawled on with ink. That it looks very similar to the ink that Sylvester was using in his cartography room.
Gulliver reads it as pudding in Lubery.
Yeah.
I want to correct him and tell everybody my interpretation.
Okay, Bartleby, I presume that the plan is to set off as soon as possible.
Correct.
Yes.
So I'm going to need to go talk to my church.
And Gulliver, you need to go and see your mentor. And your mentor, Gulliver, is Mage Danielle Duncan. And she's
Correct.
somewhat of an old, cynical woman. And she is your mentor. And you can pop along to your order house, the halls of your order, and you sort of like go up to her big oaken door of an office, and sort of like, no matter how hard you actually try to hit this door, it always seems to come out as a feeble you know, even if you whack it as hard as you can, it's as a and she goes, "Enter!"
Gulliver will I'll open the door, closing it behind him, and he'll approach. He'll approach her.
Oh, it's you. What do you wish?
Forgive my intrusion, Mistress Duncan.
Forgiven.
I know you're very busy with
I
important
am.
duties, which a position such as yours dictates. I know I haven't been in the order long, only for a few weeks, but I seek permission to be relieved of my duties, just for a short period of time, if.
And hark, what is the reason for this, young Gulliver?
An acquaintance of mine, it's not somebody who you know, believes that they know the location of a library which may well have been undiscovered for centuries. And
which library is this, Gulliver? Have you been listening to tittle-tattle round the fire again?
No. The person who has said about it is well known, and even Sylvester Macoun, who is a known cartographer in Lindowe, says that he is willing to help us. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that
Gulliver, cease
yes, Mistress Duncan.
talking. You should not pay any attention to that miserly old man. Would you believe he somewhat turned down my advances?
Oh, I can't believe that.
No, I can't believe it either.
And he has a dead owl.
Oh, well, there lies a story, Gulliver.
And he calls me a girl.
Well, we did frequently think that in initiation.
But if it wasn't for the fact that my acquaintance had asked me personally to go, I would, of course, approached you so that you could select somebody most suitable for the
Gulliver,
the task.
Gulliver, you should learn to be safe in the environment that our order provides. You should enjoy the bounty which exists around us. You should enjoy the luxury that the Blue Order presents. You should not go wandering off into the wild. It is dangerous. It is uncouth. It is somewhat dirty.
I know this, Mistress Duncan, but it's somebody needs to do this type of thing. And Master Healy, you don't know Master Healy, but he was my old master on the old world. He always used to say me that knowledge was power.
Gulliver, cease. She takes a piece of paper out and she scrawls something over it. Take this, if only to keep you quiet for a few weeks.
May I?
And as you get close to it, she just like leaves go of it, and it sort of like flutters down.
Oh, can I try to grab it?
Yes, you need to quickly.
Okay, he'll just grab it then.
No, roll for it.
Okay, what is it? It's not an athletics roll, is it?
Yes. Just multiply your dex.
Perception.
No, multiply your dexterity by 5, then do that.
Okay, so my dexterity is 12, so 60.
Yeah, so that's your skill roll.
So I'm rolling. Oh no, I don't want to roll that many d100s.
Yeah, so it
catch
starts to flutter down. You go like that, and you sort of like say, "Thank you, mistress."
May I ask another favour, Mistress Duncan? I know that I know that you're well versed in alchemy, with you being so high up in the order.
Gulliver, it is somewhat nearly luncheon time.
It won't take.
Be quick.
It won't take long.
Be quick.
He'll carefully fish out this bit of blotting paper that has the sample of the thing that Sylvester had in the vial, and he'll say, "I wonder whether or not you can tell me what's on this piece of paper."
She sort of like almost like snatches it off you with her crooked
careful!
fingers, and she looks at it and she goes and she licks it, and she says, she says, "It's a potion to tell the truth. And your time in this order, you'll probably come to nothing, because you are somewhat feeble-minded and very feminine looking like a girl. Be gone, Gulliver."
Thank you, Mistress Duncan. Gulliver.
You figure that the truth potion kicked in as she licked it. So her final words were actually what she actually thinks of
So
you.
she did actually mean goodbye.
Yes.
Excellent.
And
That's what
Bartleby,
Gulliver's.
you need to beg. You need to go and see your priest, Jeremiah Cross.
Yes, I want to power walk all the way to my church and go
Just
straight
round
to
the
wherever.
corner. So you go.
I'm like swinging my arms, going hard. I'm very urgent to get to brother Jeremiah.
Several small children duck out the way as your arms go swinging left, right, and centre as you did. And you go up, you actually meet him as you go up into the church. He's walking down the nave of the great church of Amriel and Margoth, and he's sort of like there, and he sort of like looks you up and down and says, "Bartleby."
Brother Jeremiah, I have very urgent news. I thought you were going to have more urgent news due to your higher status. Has Amriel spoken the darkness that is coming?
You forget my title, Bartleby. I am not a brother. I am a priest.
I'm sorry, Jeremiah Cross. I forget. I'm still acclimating to the needs of the church and the order itself. I have terrible news, though. Amriel has given me a vision, and I need to follow it.
Amriel's visions are varied. Which
Indeed.
vision are you speaking about?
If you've also seen it, perhaps you know the probability that Cassini has awoken or will awake.
Have you been drinking, Bartleby?
I have not. It is against the clarity of Amriel. I need her light to go through me purely.
Pray hard, Bartleby, for you are gaining some somewhat unreliable visions. Cassini the dragon is dead, slain by Jasmine Claw. The legends foretold it, and it happened ages ago. Your visions are somewhat incorrect.
But I'm sure you are correct. I'm troubled though. I was hoping perhaps I could find more information for the church on this topic. I've heard of a great library hidden far away that perhaps if I could gain access to, I could bring more information and perhaps prove that this vision that I have received is false and not going to happen.
Information is indeed acolyte, Bartleby, powerful. But please do not stray too far for the light. For remember, the human god of knowledge is somewhat tempting you towards his power. Stay within the light, and maybe we can offset the human deity of knowledge by returning the knowledge back to Amriel. I grant you leave from your duties to fulfill this humble task.
I bow to him as deeply as I can go and say thank you, priest Cross. I will return as quickly as I can.
Cool.
Now I'm going to scamper out.
Swinging your arms.
Yep. Well, okay. My hands, they got all mangled, and the way they've healed, they're just not aerodynamic. So.
So we're going to meet back up quickly in the hairy hobgoblin. Gulliver's just going to tell Bartleby and everybody else what was on what his mentor had said about the piece of blotting paper that Sylvester had given. Then he's going to show them that he's managed to get a note. He's just going to have a quick look at it to see what it actually whether or not it does give him permission.
Yeah, it does. It says that he can has 2 weeks of absence, exactly the same as Bartleby. You have 2 weeks of absence from duties of your order.
Gulliver's going to remind Hengist that about the seed. He's going to lean up close and say, "Don't forget the seed. What are you going to do with the seed, Hengist?"
Hengist says, "I cannot decide whether we should take it with us, or if I should leave it hidden in the room that I have here."
I mean, the only thing is what happens if Basil gets really busy and he rents out your room when you're gone, and
there is that.
They drop something on the floor, maybe a bit of pie or something, and then look underneath the bed and they find this relic. Perhaps it might be safer if we take it with us.
Hengist will nod for that.
Okay, so
are we ready to go?
So the idea is then that you are going to take the seed with you. Yep.
Well, we don't have much choice.
You have all the choice in the world, Hengist. You can go outside and dig a hole with it. There's much choice.
You could maybe hide it somewhere in Sylvester's basement.
Does Sylvester? How do you know Sylvester has a basement, Gulliver?
Because sorry, not Sylvester. Basil.
Yes.
Because we've been down there.
Yeah, Basil does indeed have a fancy. You remembering that?
Well, Hengist definitely remembers it. He doesn't like going down there because he got. And
there's a couple of barrels that could be moved to one side, and there's like a mole hole underneath behind it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find.
That's true.
It's not elephant. That's something else.
So yeah.
What does everybody else think we should do? Aeron, what do you think we should do with it? Because we can't let it fall into somebody else's hands. It's too powerful.
At this point in time, the nature of the seed is still at great risk and upsetting the balance of the world. I think it is best held within your capable hands, Hengist, or at least this crew.
So we take it with us.
It seems to have remained stable thus far.
What
we
do
just
you
have
think?
to not
What do you
take it
think
out
about
of the
it?
casing.
I'm troubled, Gulliver.
What does
Well, should we not leave it
Emily
with?
think then?
Well, in regards to the seed, I believe the safest place would probably be my church.
Well, we have left 2 seeds already with your church to look after.
They're quite safe.
2 eggs.
2 eggs. Yeah.
Oh, 2 eggs.
Yes.
Maybe it would be too much power for them to have another one.
This is the underground. This is what's underneath the heavy hobgoblin.
Ooh.
And it was behind these.
That was where the mole rats came out.
I think Aeron is probably
Like that.
probably right. We're I think if anybody should be protecting it, it should be us.
That's
I
just
think,
fine.
I think fate plays a large part in the stories that unfold before us, and for some reason, multiples of these seeds, these eggs, there's multiple factors at work, and they've come into this party's, they've been written into your chapter of the great story for a purpose, for a reason, and so I think abandoning them is not in your best interest.
Okay, we take the seed with us then.
So just for clarification, the eggs that Bartleby handed over to his church are definitely
Safe.
no, I didn't say that. Are crafted. They're definitely crafted.
Yeah.
So like Fabergé eggs.
Right,
Seed that you got from the coffer is definitely more natural, and it's like a bundle of mildew fibers in an egg shape. So it's not.
Is it about the same size as the other eggs, or is it smaller?
Good question. The egg that you have would fit inside, most definitely, the crafted Fabergé eggs.
Right.
It would definitely fit inside one.
Okay, so currently it's in a coffer, which is wrapped up in Gulliver's cloak. And do you have a backpack, Hengist?
That I do.
So you'll probably be safer in the backpack when we go. But so getting everything together, we want to be making headway as soon as possible. We want to be leaving because we've only got two. Gulliver's only got a 2-week leave of absence. And,
Okay, then.
We want to be getting out and on the road and making good time before if Sylvester McCoon is sending anybody after us. We want to be, even to the extent of the first couple of days traveling, maybe putting a couple of extra hours.
Okay, so you've bought your equipment already, you bought your trail rations, and you bought anything that you wanted, such as rope and things like that. So that should all be on your character sheets now. And remember, it should be obvious for me if I go and have a look at it what you're actually carrying on there. And what happens is that as soon as everybody's ready, you sort of like head off in that southwesterly path along the road. There's a trade route there, and Bartleby knows about this trade route that heads off down the coastline, heading towards this side passage that leads off to the mountains. And you sort of like head off down the road, and you leave the confines of Lindowe through one of the main city gates. And it's just as you sort of like start walking along and you're sort of like engaging in that friendly chatter that you notice for the past few hours that you've been in the Hobgoblin, that you notice that Martin wasn't actually sat at his usual table. He was there when he was there when you came back from the Templars, but sometime between then and the end of you leaving the Hobgoblin, he actually left or no longer was around. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to move you onto a pathway. Okay, and the idea of this pathway is that you're moving from the northeast to the southwest, yeah? So this is what the area sort of like looks like. And just need to move you. I know you're still there, don't worry. Just need to move this closer so I can whack you onto it. Okay.
As we left Lindowe, and as this time's passed, Gulliver's wanting to, as he's walking down the road, he wants to see whether or not he can find any stones, on the actual road or on the verge that looks like they might be all right for throwing. Yeah, and if he can, he wants to gather up sort of like 3 of them, just to replace the one that he lost in the alleyway.
Can you see your characters as they're coming on now?
Yeah, Gulliver's just come on.
Yeah. So all I need you to do is to organize yourself in some organization of you know, how you're marching, how you're going down, etc., how you're sort of like progressing. You can, as you can see from the width, you can walk 2 or 3 abreast. That's completely up to you. Sometimes there are some wagons that are coming the other way, but really and truly, you know, it's up to you how you progress. You don't have to be 1 abreast or 2 abreast or anything like that. It's completely and utterly up to you. So you should nearly, just give me 1 more second. You should all have access now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm just going to ping the map. If you think of here, let me just put a line on because you'll forget. If you think about there as the relative front of it, so you've got plenty of room to organize your characters. So if the person in the actual front is against that line, so when I take the line away, I know that's where the front of you is, where you are walking, and then the rest of you can sort of like move wherever you want behind that line.
Is the road ahead of us clear, apart from, you know, the odd wagon?
Yeah, well, you can actually see about 5 kilometers ahead of you due to the beyond that it's not possible due to the curvature of the earth, you know. But you can see sort of like 5 kilometers, and the road just stretches out in front of you, you know, and that's fine. So yeah, so I need the person who's in front here. That's where I need you. Yeah, you see where I'm pinging? So I need you all in the middle of the map, if that makes sense.
Okay, Gulliver will go. We'll head off in the front.
I guess I'll hang around the back because I'm too deep in thought about this conundrum.
Okay, so Hengist and Gulliver's up at the front, and then we've got a bit of a gap before Bartleby, and then Aeron and Juno bringing up the way. I assume Gulliver and Hengist, you're busy talking. Is that why you're walking together at the front?
Well, Gulliver's been looking for his stones, but
oh well,
yeah.
you're likely not to be at the front then, because
Okay,
it will actually.
I'll be here.
Yeah, you'll probably be more sort of like at this distance, because it takes you quite a while to sort of like go and find. How many of these stones do you wish?
He wants to get sort of like 3, you know, 3 good ones, aerodynamic.
Okay.
You know, he probably goes through a lot before he finds 3 that he thinks is going to be the best.
Okay. So at that point, guys, we are going to take a quick 10-minute break. Since you're on the road, and we'll see what's going to occur. So a quick 10-minute break. If you're watching the stream, then thank you for dropping in this evening or this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are across the globe. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, so please head off, get yourself a drink, have a quick bio break, and then please do come back, and we'll see what, because you know, no fantasy adventure happens that people just walk along a road and nothing happens at all. So come back to see what will be confronting the party next. Okay, I will see you in 10.